I think the way that I define empathy is it is a intellectual exercise where we are trying to rationalize and interpret what another person is feeling. Maybe we do feel. Empathy is still a feeling that exists in our bodies, but there is this mind supremacy that occurs because we're always projecting, right? Like how can you empathize with somebody who has a completely outside experience to anything that you've ever experienced? We try to draw parallels, and that's how we relate to one another. So as we're engaging in a conversation with somebody, we might be noticing something and feeling a response in reaction to what they're saying. But the way that I've sort of distinguished the difference between empathy and compassion is empathy is where you're trying to feel what it would be like to be in somebody else's shoes. And we're doing that by attempting to understand what their particular lived experience is. The problem with that is that we're actually eliminating this entire piece here on the experience of what it's like to go through their life. Like it isn't just a mental exercise. What somebody can communicate to us about their lived experience is not the same as what it's like to go through it and embody that lived experience. And so that's what I mean by it being a mind exercise, is that we're asking the person to articulate what it's like to be them. And then again, we're meeting them with what we can understand. We're feeling as much as possible what they might be feeling, but we're not ever able to experience what it is truly like to be in their shoes. There's so many other somatic experiences that cannot be conveyed verbally. So I think that's an important distinction to make. And I think for me, the difference between empathy and compassion is that compassion is actually a practice that centers the other person. I find that empathy still is centering myself in my response to imagine what it's like to be you. But compassion is where we are practicing behaviors that center the person who is impacted. So I'm curious to know if, that resonates or if it doesn't. That's just sort of been my exercise in really trying to distinguish the difference between empathy and compassion.